Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge, where we guide you through the magic of Disney.
It's Saturday, episode 204. I'm Brian.
Saturday. I'm Tracy.
You're back.
I'm back home
You're not on the
for
phone.
the next few days.
Yeah. So, well, we're leaving today. So,
And then I'm leaving again.
yeah. But we're going to be going to Disney on Monday. And then we have that wallet, the Kate Spade card
yes.
wallet, to give away. So if you're on Disneyland property, Disney California property, downtown Disney property, on Monday the 3rd, and you see us, if you're the first to see us and ask for that wallet, you get it. So we'll be posting updates throughout the day. All righty. We have a new giveaway, which is, and we told you guys that we're going to be doing more small business related giveaways.
Yep.
And this is the first of those.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a magic crown. Isn't that
Yes.
what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, good. And you could go ahead and talk about it because this is more your thing.
Well, it's the magic crown from Moms with Magic Crowns, and that's Haley. And she makes these custom-made crowns. They're in the shape of Mickey ears, but they're called crowns, not ears. And you can see a picture of it, but I think you all already saw. I bought a lot of them, and one for myself as well. So,
But
yeah,
you bought
and
some even before now.
yeah,
though.
we bought some before, and then after, I thought we would give one away, and I keep one. So it's the Fantasyland one that is currently sold out, actually, or out of stock. So this is the one we're giving away.
Brand new, custom.
And it lights up.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It looks so pretty when it lights up.
and that's one thing I always try to tell you. I'm like, keep telling people it lights up because it's not just I mean, they're really spectacular by themselves, but that is a freaking to like guys or just people who just want to see the value in it. Like that's something that
Yeah.
most ears don't do.
Yeah,
So and
it's
if
really
you,
beautiful when it lights up.
yeah, and sometimes I think. Even when I look at the pictures you took and I know they light up, sometimes I think, oh, that's just a camera filter or an Instagram filter. No, those are real lights on it. So yeah, this is a pretty cool gift, and we're happy to support her. And all you have to do, well, first of all, this giveaway ends on Saturday, July 29th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all you have to do to enter is direct message us the answer to this very simple question, actually. For any crowns/mini Mickey ears, what Disney theme would you like to see that you haven't seen before?
Oh, what kind of ears or crowns you would like
Yeah.
made or seen
Yeah.
Disney to make?
Yeah.
Huh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, and even if they haven't done before, I mean, and you don't know, that's fine. You don't have to do research. It doesn't matter.
Just what
if
you want
do-
to see. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's going to have a different spin on it. So, I mean, how many Star Wars ears are there? I mean, dozens now, but it doesn't mean that that's the one you want
Or
to
if
see.
you want them to bring something back that they discontinued.
Yeah, that's a good too. Yeah.
Because
good
I
one.
like my Vader ears, and they haven't brought it back. They
Mhm.
brought back Vader ears, but they're not like that the one I have.
Or maybe Moms with Magic Crowns could make something.
Yes.
So, doing some free R&D for her. So, so yeah, just direct message us that answer to Instagram, Facebook, or info@ropedroppingknowledge.com. If you do all three, you get 3 entries. 2, you get 2 entries. 1, you get 1 entry. And you must be 18 years or older and live in the United States. All righty.
Woohoo.
That's our giveaway for July. So I think it's a pretty good giveaway.
So the first thing is something we forgot to talk about last week, but I didn't know it was such a big deal. Like, everyone was up in arms about it. But if you watch the first episode
Of course you
Secret
don't.
I don't know why people are mad about it. Anyways, if you watch the first episode of, or any episodes of Secret Invasion, it looks like they used AI in the opening sequence.
They confirmed
like
it,
the
yeah.
art that
Mhm.
was used was an AI art, I guess. Like
Mhm.
nobody drew it, a machine drew it.
Mhm.
I thought it looked pretty cool and creepy, but
Yeah, it looks cool, and that's the whole point. Because even you, Miss Automation, was saying, well, we shouldn't use AI for artistic stuff. But and there you go.
how does it like? Do they just put in like input words and say, draw this, and then it just draws that or
Kinda.
something?
I mean, I don't know if it inputs words, or if they're going off of a template, or they just have an AI program where you can take where we can have it just draw a still picture and then instruct it what to do with that picture. I don't know. So
Well, it could be an artist who told the AI what to do.
maybe.
Because maybe he has his hands hurt that day or he was injured.
Well, all I know is that, and again, they plan these things, sometimes years in advance because that show takes a long time to produce and everything. The fact that it debuted and they used it in the middle of the writer's strike, where the main thing was AI, I think a lot of people kind of took it as a slap in the face. You know?
Oh.
So yeah, I can see, and even though the artists and writers are different guilds, I think it's still using AI to supplant an artist. So because sometimes there's teams of artists
Yeah.
to do it. So let's say even if you are correct and one artist kind of did some digital stuff to set a template. If they had to not use two other artists that they would typically use, that's still two jobs that were gone.
Well, we have a cousin that's a graphics designer, so I don't want her job to be gone. So
It's gone.
I am not advocating for AI for art still.
AI for art. The other job's
Creative
okay.
AI, no.
Well, it was funny because there was a story this week out of Texas A&M, and the professor flunked all of his students because he ran their final papers through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, "Yep, these are all plagiarized." It was all.
Well, that's good. That's a good AI.
But ChatGPT was wrong.
Oh.
So
How can a machine be wrong? A machine can never be wrong.
Okay.
Humans make errors. Machines don't make errors.
I agree, Tracy. We are never wrong.
Yeah. Well, the professor inputted some data incorrectly. That's how it was wrong. He used the AI incorrectly.
You're correct. We should replace professors with AI.
You could see my face. I'm like looking up. Like, huh.
Tracy's like, that's a good idea.
Because you have to be exact and accurate, right? So if you leave it up to a human, it's not accurate. You gotta check for accuracy. Yeah.
Why isn't that what AI is supposed to do? Check for
Well,
accuracy?
who discovered that the AI was wrong?
Well,
Did the students like protest and did their own research?
well, yeah,
or-
because they delayed their graduations. Some of them were they
and
were
that's
denied
weird
diplomas.
that every student, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
yeah, that is fishy.
AI would have caught that.
Yes, they would have.
No, I think that
You need another AI to double check the one.
yeah,
the
he
first
had to
AI.
check AI, And then the ironic thing is that somebody, I guess when he was in graduate school or something, he did some paper on pig farming or something, and then they ran that through GPT, and they said, "Well, that's plagiarized." The AI said that was
something's
plagiarized.
broken with that AI thing. Somebody needs to
I don't
rewrite it or
know.
something. ChatGPT, yeah, you guys gotta go.
Well, or he didn't know how to use it, or
Yeah.
they used the wrong parameters. But that's that's the one danger of AI is it could be wrong because we're assuming it's right. You're putting your trust in this thing, because how many there's a lot of like videos you can see of Tesla self-driving cars that have caused like accidents. I think
Yeah,
people have
that's
died,
too. Yeah,
you know?
that's too much.
But then, you know, but then there's like just putting your trust in something. But I mean, I'm not saying that I'm for it or against it. I'm thinking that society just needs to accept it's coming, and we need to make societal changes to accommodate
Yeah.
for that, because businesses are going to use it. It's
Yeah.
not going to be. Even my company is excited about using
Mhm.
certain AI for stuff. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's they're going to use it for writing. I don't think the writers are going to win on it, because how can you? You would have to make it so wide sweeping in an MOA, because like somebody who's not like a guild affiliated writer,
Mhm.
I could make my own movie written by Chat GPT or some AI program. And then as long as I got money to finance it, I can do it. You know, the guild can't stop me from doing something as an individual.
Yeah.
So, if that becomes a hit, like Blair Witch Project, remember that was
Yeah.
something that was kind of like an independent film that got purchased
Mhm.
and went big. Or the in San
Well,
Diego,
everybody's YouTube channel,
I
basically,
forget
right?
everyone's YouTube channel. They're already using
Yeah.
scripts for YouTube,
Yeah.
AI scripts, and Paranormal Activity. You know, that guy was right here in San Diego, and Rancho Penasquitos did it in his own house. Remember, our
Yeah.
friend dated him. Before.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and when he was doing it, and she went to his house, and it was all blood and everything, and she freaked out. I thought he
He's
was
like,
a serial
oh,
killer.
no, I'm filming a movie. I didn't just kill someone in my bathtub.
Exactly. But the point is that
Or is he?
oh
Just
yeah,
kidding.
that's a pretty good cover, you know.
Yeah, that's probably what most guys will say. Most serial killers.
I'm filming a movie, yeah. But
It's not real blood.
It's one of those things where, then what happens? It's like, are you going to say that Universal can't buy this project that's viral that I made? I mean,
Yeah.
it gets hard. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, somebody on LinkedIn said something about AI by itself is not good, but AI plus human is good. So work with the AI is basically, I think, what he's trying to say.
well, I
But
mean,
don't leave it up to AI alone, I suppose, because then you have that professor problem.
Well, that was an AI plus human, and the human messed up.
Maybe-
the reason you have AI is because humans are flawed.
Maybe 2 AIs and a human. I don't know.
2 AIs and a human. You need 2.
You 2 AIs to 1 human.
I like the way how Tracy looks at AI is, well, just get 2 of them. It's like as if that's how it works. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, my mom's degree, like you reminded me, my mom's degree was in drafting,
Yeah,
and she never used it because as soon as she graduated, a machine replaced that
yeah,
whole industry. So
yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah. Everybody has short memories, man. It's and you know what? And here's the thing: it's like, and a lot of the people who like it, because I know a lot of finance bros, you know, because when I got my MBA, a lot of people went into finance, and that's what they wanted to do. And it's just like, well, if you think that an AI, they're thinking of AI and robotics replacing like lower level workers, and then from a finance standpoint, like that's great. You know, we can the ROI is going to be crazy. You know, you know, I'm like, the best thing AI and computers can do is numbers.
Yeah.
Why do they need you?
Right.
And AI can do better stock predictions and economic forecasts than a person. You know what I mean? Like,
If you put the right data in, though.
it'll get the right data, because you can ask an AI to get data from all over the world in a matter of seconds,
Yeah.
whereas a human might have to research weeks. You know, so I'm like, don't be so cocky, man. You think everybody thinks that they're gonna just replace like blue collar jobs? I'm like, no, no. AI is really good at stuff that if you touch a computer, basically AI is gonna be better than you. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all AI is
It
doing is
is.
taking over the computer for you.
Pretty soon you don't even have to use a computer.
Yeah. A computer would be using you.
Robot, what would you like me to do?
But it's from the secret invasion thing. Yeah, I can see how like what it is kind of tone deaf. But are they sending a message? Saying, look. We did this without you, so get back to work. Or
They
else.
can't get back to work. Like what?
No, I'm saying that the strikers, people are striking. It's like they're striking.
Get back to work. What?
Stop striking. Get back to work because look at what we can do if we want
Without
to.
you.
Exactly.
But they're not getting back to work because they're saying that we can use the robot instead of you.
Well, I'm saying that's not
So-
there yet. But
Oh yeah.
but if you're not back to work, this is what we're gonna have to do.
It'll have to be sped up.
It's
fast.
sped up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Accelerated. So yeah, that's one of those ongoing issues. But another thing that I found, continuing with the technology theme, because you remember back 2017 when the whole Hall of Presidents thing was, and they did Donald Trump's animatronic,
Yeah.
at Disney World, and everyone thought it would look weird. And everybody I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like it might have even been a dot point, not even a major story.
Yeah.
So this journalist, Alex Goldman,
Mm-hmm.
brought it up again, and because he says he has like this, and who knows if this is true, but it was this insider Imagineer, a former Imagineer, at least that's what he claims to be.
Mm-hmm.
It said that the reason it looked so weird was because, and this is the conspiracy, is that Disney thought Hillary was going to win, so they already made her animatronic. And when Trump won, and these things cost, probably $100,000, maybe more. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Because these things, they're expensive. They redesigned hers into him. So that's why
I didn't know they started that early because I thought they would be like a couple years behind after the president.
No, it was 2017 when they unveiled it. So the election was in 2016.
That's kind of early.
That's what-
what,
Yeah, that's why the
That's
conspiracy.
why those conspiracy is.
Yeah, it's like
that's
you thought
funny.
Hillary was going to win, so you made one
You
that looked like a
started making
woman.
one, yeah.
And that's why the Trump one looked so horrible, because the conspiracy at the time is that Disney just hates Trump. So they just made an ugly thing, but then what makes more sense was it's like, well, that doesn't really make sense. Why would they spend a lot of money to make an ugly? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not include them at all or whatever.
I don't even know what it looks like, but
Yeah.
that's now. I
Well, they
gotta look.
redid it in 2021.
Oh,
They actually redid it, so they're even admitting that it was bad.
Yeah.
But the conspiracy is that
They used the Hillary.
they used the Hillary one
model.
and had to reshape. Yeah.
Funny.
And so
Now I wonder if there's a picture of it from.
yeah, there are. You could do a compare and contrast. And so I thought that was funny. And so yeah, technology is still it's just weird. It affects things in
That's
different ways.
because a human did it. If an AI did it, it'll look exactly like Trump. That's my conspiracy theory.
I agree completely.
Put it through a 3D printer or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. And then the other thing was not as a big a deal, but they said there was an Ellen DeGeneres animatronic.
There
And now it's
was?
gone. And they said that they repurposed it, and now it's somewhere else in the park as another animatronic.
Better not be Hondo or something.
It could be Hondo. Hondo just starts dancing down the aisle. Or maybe it's Groot. It's like baby Groot. It used to be Ellen.
We just cut it in half.
just starts dancing. Just starts dancing and yelling at interns. And I am Groot. We got your coffee. I am Groot. What's wrong with Groot? I don't know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, Groot hates all our staff. All right.
Now I wonder.
So what else do we have?
Oh, KeyBank Capital Markets analyst Brandon Nisbel downgraded Disney stock
Mm-hmm. And
to
to
what is-
sector, which pretty much makes it like an average stock instead of
Oh, was it like some superior? I didn't know stocks came in categories.
overweight is like
So it was overweight.
Well, that's the they downgraded it from overweight to sector.
Mm.
So And basically, that's because they said that the projections are too robust, like as in not realistic. So, like, they think that the analysts believe that park attendance is not going to be as great as Disney is kind of projecting, or other analysts are projecting, and it's just revenue itself is just not going to be as great. Not that Disney's not going to make profits, not that they're not going to make revenue.
It's not as enough as they said. Projected.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah, so this is a forecast. So, so we don't know if it's right or wrong, but Disney is trying to. I think, in some ways, again, kind of like when they cut all the content for a loss off of their channels. I think Disney they don't want an inflated stock price. So like a lot of people would but point out that Tesla, when Tesla's stock was just booming, like super high, it was artificially inflated because they were getting a lot of government subsidies based on the products, of the actual vehicles they were selling. It really wasn't worth as much as people thought it was worth, but people were kind of buying into the hype. But the thing is that that's kind of all stocks. I mean, it's not like all stocks are hype, basically, right? Because if a lot of people buy into something, the value goes up.
Yeah.
And people buy into it for all kinds of reasons, and it's all a bet. It's nothing but sophisticated gambling.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not an exact science. I mean, there are things that you can utility, like, okay, yes, we're going to, like AI, like ChatGPT, they said it already has over $1 billion valuation. OpenAI is actually the company. And it's one of those things where, we're going to need AI, so it makes sense to invest in a company that is leading that particular sector, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that, because Netscape browser was leading the sector too. And web crawler before Google, and Yahoo before Google, and then Google ends up just wiping everything
AOL.
out. Yeah, so just because you're leading that sector it's still not a guarantee that you're going to be around in 10 years.
Yeah, look at Netflix too.
Yeah, Netflix.
It was like the top dog in streaming, and now it's
it's still up there, but not the top dog anymore. So it's it's all. What do they say? The stock market is basically a graph of rich people's feelings. Yeah, that's how they feel. It's how they feel. If somebody wants to put $1 billion into a company overnight, or a group or an equity group, that stock's going to skyrocket. Somebody wants to take $1 billion out of a company, it's going to plummet. That doesn't necessarily speak to the actual viability of the product. And this is just a guess, but I guess we'll see. So having a stock price that is not overinflated, like too much hype, can benefit the company in the long run. It sounds like it's really bad for Disney right now, but if it's actually closer to what we would call a true valuation is, and there's really no such thing as a true valuation, but if everyone just calm down, this is what it's closer to what it's actually worth. Actually is better for the company because it becomes more stable and people are more likely to put it into pension plans and things. It's not considered as high risk if there's a less hype around it too. So it could be good or bad, but we'll see. I don't think Iger minds at this point. All right, what's next?
So Disney's opposing a potential new UK streaming service regulation. As some revisions and expansions to regulation of streaming services work their way through Parliament in the UK. So legal counsel for the Walt Disney Company is opposing these changes. And here are some of the changes, or here are some of the regulations saying, it requires streaming service providers to email their subscribers every 6 months to remind them they're still subscribed and being charged. Man, I wish they'd do that. I don't even get an email after my 14-day free trial that says, hey, we're going to charge you. Your 14 days up. Nope, they just charge you, and then you're stuck for a year. So that's what that's the regulation proposing. The second thing is they're mandating providers to give a 14-day cooling off period to subscribers so that subscribers can receive a full refund if they choose to keep the service. So it's that 14-day free trial
Mhm.
thing, but it's like another 14 days. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Kind of thing.
It's like almost like a lemon law for a car.
Yeah.
Like you have a
Yes.
certain amount of in California. For those of you outside California, we have a lemon law, so you can actually return a car.
Within like 10 days
I
or
think
something.
it only applies to new cars though. But
Yeah.
yeah,
10-day cooling period.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is what Disney, I think, is forcing content creators to approach sensitive social and political topics with objectivity and impartiality. So this new regulation primarily means placing platforms like Disney Plus, Netflix, Max under the purview of Ofcom, the UK's media regulator. So they can look and regulate, I guess, if it doesn't seem impartial or socially sensitive. But that's like what
sounds
all
weird.
three, Netflix, Disney, and Max, are like, what? No, you're not going to tell us what we can put. You know, like you're
Yeah.
not going to tell us if this is, quote, right or not right or whatever, or impartial.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, so
I-
these are the three things.
So let's go through them one at a time.
Okay, so the first one, emailing subscribers every 6 months to remind them that they're still subscribed and paying.
So this is kind of like the difference in conservative versus liberal philosophy when it comes to laissez-faire, right? Like,
Mhm.
keep the government out of business.
Yes.
Right. Conservatives are more laissez-faire. It's like if someone's stupid and you can take their money, that's on them, right?
Hands
like
off.
it's
Yeah.
it's the individual's responsibility. So in America we have the rugged individual archetype.
Mhm.
Carl Jung
Mhm.
coined that phrase, but. Like if you watch Bonanza, like you watch shows from like the 50s and 60s, it's
Mhm.
like all about these
The
like
Cowboys?
cowboys who have a
Mhm.
lot of land they're trying to protect. They have a
Mhm.
herd they're trying to protect, and people are trying to take their herd, and they need to, take their guns out and blast them. America is very much about property rights.
Mhm.
I own this. Don't touch it unless I let you, and you're responsible for your own destiny.
Mhm.
And that's not. And that boils down into the way we do business. That's why subscription models are so popular with corporate
Mhm.
America, because, just look at gym memberships. How many people on, first day of the year, New Year's Day,
Yeah.
sign up for gym
And
memberships
then
and never go?
go.
And how many? And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with the whole a la carte refunds.
Yeah.
Like, it's like how many people, like I said, would just give up, like if they didn't get and not even go to City Hall or whatever at the end of the night. We still didn't find out what they actually do, but if they do give refunds, but like would just leave. I mean, again, going back to dads who are fighting taxi cab drivers at the end of the night, you're so done sometimes.
Yeah. You just
At
want
the
to
end
go
of the
home.
park, you got 4 kids
or
or
rent a
whatever,
hotel.
and
Yeah.
you leave. I'm not gonna try to get a refund.
Yeah.
And
Forget it. I'm
we're
just going to
done.
go sleep.
Exactly. And companies make a lot of revenue off that. Like I said again, just like the gift cards. How many people have $1 or 50 cents left on
Yeah.
the 20 gift cards that they've gotten over the years, and that's just one household.
Yeah.
And you just throw it away. It's like, well, what am I going to do with 50 cents, or what am I going to do with this, or what am I going to do with that? And you multiply that over 10 million people. Well, that's a lot of money.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of corporations, a big part of their ROI is just like people not taking, from a conservative standpoint, not taking responsibility over their own
Over their own thing.
over their own
Yeah.
finances, and if that makes us money, oh well. And the more liberal side is like, well, we need to protect people from predatory
Yeah.
practices.
That's weird that the UK would be all.
Well, they're
like
more
that.
liberal. Europe is way
are?
more liberal.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't know that? Yeah.
I thought the
no,
US was the most liberal.
Literally, U.S. No, we're
Well,
super.
lately it's not, but that's why we get made fun of. But yeah.
Just look at where do they have universal health care? Where they do not
Oh,
have
yeah,
universal.
that's
That's
true,
the only
that's
thing you
true.
have to look at.
Okay. U.S. is pro-business. Pro-business, not
United
liberal.
States is pro-business.
Pro-business,
We're
yes.
the only places that are more pro-business than us are places like Singapore, and Dubai, and even they have, they're more authoritarian type governments, but that's a different thing.
Yeah,
they really
yeah,
don't
yeah.
mess with business.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a philosophical difference. And by the way, both of them have merits and both of them have flaws.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm advocating for one over the other. To me, personally, I'm just like, yeah, I get it. We want to protect our citizens, and
Well,
but
actually, they said that the intent of this law is to give network TV like BBC
right,
equal playing field.
right.
So they're just maybe public.
Well,
That's not really public, right? BBC is like
it's-
ABC
it's
or
pub-
something.
No, it's public.
Oh, it's like PBS
That's the
here.
British Broadcasting. It's kind of
Oh.
like it's kind of like but a big
PBS.
on a giant basis.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they believe that they don't want Europe in Britain. Britain's no longer, because of Brexit, they're no longer a part of the EU, but
Mhm.
still kind of the same philosophies. Because the EU is going through the same thing with Apple right now. They're trying to make
Oh.
Apple use USB-C, because you know how they use Lightning for the phones.
Yeah.
They're saying nope, it has to be USB-C, and then Apple was kind of like, okay, we'll use USB-C, but then they were going to, if you use like a USB-C that's not an Apple cord, your charging was going to be like 50%.
Yeah.
It's not going to charge as
It's
fast.
kinda
And
like
then-
that
and then-
now.
And then the EU's like, no,
Yeah.
you can't do that. Or and the EU has a lot of power, because they say, because if you don't do what we want, you cannot sell Apple
yeah.
throughout the entirety of the EU,
Yeah.
which is a huge market, right?
Right.
And so, and then Samsung that's already has USB-C and
They're
all
like,
that
"Oh,
stuff.
we'll do it."
We'll do whatever you want, And then all of a sudden that market share shifts, right? Because Apple has this
in
huge
Europe,
market,
yeah.
and that's part of the world. So the world market share shifts. So it's governments still have a lot of power when it comes to business, and it's going to be weird as to how they navigate this, because the United States, I think we assume that, like you just thought, like, oh, United States is pretty liberal and stuff.
Thought we're all like freedom and all that stuff. Like, like.
We are about freedom, and that's what American corporations would say. It's
Oh,
like
it's
Americans
freedom, but it allows.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Freedom comes with responsibility. So if somebody doesn't
just
know
thought
that
of
they have a
Spider-Man.
subscription and they don't cancel it, like, how's that our fault?
Yeah.
That's the way.
That's the freedom. Yeah.
That's the way Americans would look at
Yeah.
it, right? Well, a lot of Americans, I should say. But but Europe's like, well,
You gotta
people
help your fellow. yeah.
Europeans are like, well, yeah, people are stupid.
That's why we have to have all these
So we have that
regulations to
protection.
make sure they're protected.
Yeah, we have the protection. And there's Tracy. It's like, why doesn't it AI solve both problems? Like, we just give it to AI.
Yeah, and if you just okay, this is not even like high tech AI. Just put it in your calendar on your Apple phone. That's the AI that will remind you every 30 days that you have a Netflix subscription or whatever, Disney Plus subscription.
You don't even have to
That's
put it.
like
You don't
just
even have to put it
low-tech
in your
AI.
calendar. You could just say, I don't want to say it too loud because we have so many in the house. We could say like, "Hey Siri, hey Google."
Yeah, you tell
cancel
it
subscription
to
and
remind
blah,
you
blah,
every
blah.
6
Yeah,
months.
Yeah,
That's
well,
like low tech
not-
AI. It's
yeah,
not even
it-
anything new,
I know.
but it is AI.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's funny, but it's that's a lot of people don't see that tug of war between business and government.
Yeah.
And
And the reason why it's so pro business here is probably campaign donations, blah blah,
yeah,
all that.
yeah. I mean, and we just have a different philosophy, because even the citizens are like, we have a lot of small business owners. Like, small business here, is. I mean, just look at us. Look at your sister's a small business owner. My sister's a small business owner. We're invested in small businesses. Our friends are small business owners. So when you have a good chunk of your population that are actually business owners themselves, it's like that doesn't exist in a lot of other countries. So we are going to be more freedom from, pro individual responsibility, because it's kind of like, I have a friend who owns a bar. Like, how responsible is she over somebody who drinks too much? Kind of, you know what I mean? Where does that line get drawn? And
But we have laws that penalizes bars
in some
if they
states,
overserve.
depends on the state.
Mm.
California is very regulated because
Yeah.
it's a very more European state.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the conservative states think, California's trying to make us all like Europe. And that's one of the,
Oh,
that's
I
our
see.
campaign slogan, right?
Yeah. Like, California would love this UK law thing, right? Oh, don't forget to remind them. Oh, so we're like enablers. That's what we are. Don't forget to remind them. They paid for
Yeah.
something.
Exactly. Yeah, and conservatives was like, dude, if somebody wants to overdose on oxy, it's on them.
Yeah.
So you can see at either extreme, there's tragedy.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can have somebody that's like, to me, it's like, what's that? If somebody doesn't want to cancel their subscription, that's on them. Whatever. But we wouldn't make that same argument when it comes to opioids. You see what I mean?
Yes.
We would say, well, that's an addictive thing.
Yeah.
So
Why not have rehab? Like I was rewatching Traffic,
Mhm.
and when the drug czar, Michael Douglas, went to Mexico to meet the Mexican drug czar,
Yeah.
he's like, what do you have in terms of rehab and helping
Mhm.
addicts, clean up? What?
Mm.
That addicts solve our problems because they just die off, and then nobody wants drugs anymore. They just all die off, and then the American drug czar's like, okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I always find it interesting because these are the type of discussions that you really can't have with people unless it affects products that they use. And so now that it's affecting Disney, now that it's affecting Apple, it's going to start affecting individuals because if Disney can't get into certain markets, if Apple can't get into certain markets, the prices in the United States always go up
oh,
because that's how they're going to supplement that.
yeah,
So when they have to spend more in another country, there's a reason why our medications in the United States cost so much, and medications in Canada and Europe are a lot cheaper because they have that collective bargaining. So, and you could say that's a good thing or a bad thing, But I think the more people think about this, a lot of people say, well, it gets politicized, but it only gets politicized because people don't discuss the nuances. If you get into the nuances to where you could say, yeah, I can see why we might need a little bit of this, but we might need a little bit of that. I think it's less political. I think it's more like this is maybe what people need, and let's take the best out of both systems and disregard the worst out of both systems. That's what he did in martial arts. That's how we got the UFC. Okay, what do we got next?
So you wanted to go to each one, but the second one's kind
Oh
of
that's
the same thing. It's
yeah,
like
it's
allowing for a 14-day cooling off period to subscribers, so they're not
it's
locked in for a whole year or
same
whatever.
Issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the forcing creators, that's kind of like, okay.
This is a little weird.
Yeah, that's like really authoritarian now. It's like, okay, why are you forcing content creators to approach sensitive? So I guess they see the mess that's going on with social media and Facebook, but that has nothing to, I don't know.
But
I don't know.
even
That's
with
kind of
that, it's
weird.
like, again, a lot of people would politicize it, but it all depends on the issue, right? So in Florida, DeSantis would be all for that as long as if it was like, I get to regulate stuff about LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah.
But what if they wanted to regulate stuff about guns?
You can't
You'd be
have
like,
guns in
no.
a TV show.
Yeah, so that would be like Europe, right?
Right.
And so
what do you want that?
both are authoritarian.
Yeah.
They just disagree on the issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I say it's not political. It
it's
comes
so
down to
subjective.
principles. No,
Sensitive social and political topics with objectivity and impartiality. How do you? There's
Right.
not.
so like what I'm saying is there's a lot of people in the United States that would be like, well, that's just a liberal nanny state, but in Florida they have a conservative nanny state.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to, I guess what I would like to see is people come up with a principle and then apply it to every issue. Because then if you can keep that same principle, even if it's like an issue that you're in favor of or not favor of, you would still keep the same standard.
Yeah.
What happens is that people just look at the issue first before the principle, and then they make their decision. And it's kind of like in jiu-jitsu, we have a principle called position before submission. It's like you don't go for a choke or an arm bar before you secure a good position of dominance.
Yeah.
Right? And I would say use that same philosophy in politics.
Right.
Like have a principle. I'm not telling you which principle to have. But once you have that principle, then you can apply it to every issue and you'll be consistent.
Yes.
You
But
know?
the main principle is it's subject to so much interpretation, and
But that
you
the
can't,
the principle.
what do you mean by impartiality?
No, that's not the principle. The principle is: do you want government to be able to decide artistic content, or do you not want government to decide artistic content?
I see.
And once you make that decision for yourself, it doesn't matter which issue comes up because you can apply the same principle. See what I mean? So even if it's a issue like, dude, I'd really So let's say you're against, let's say you're for government intervention. If there's something that you really like, you have to still apply that same principle.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, yeah, I really wish they'd show this show, but I get it, Or if you're on the other side, it's like, oh man, I really wish they would ban this, but I get it,
But from a practical standpoint, how are they going to even enforce
you
it?
can't,
You
and
can't.
that's why you have to form your principle
Yeah.
based on what's practical.
Yeah.
So, whatever principle you have, just develop a principle first, stick to that, and then go forward. All right.
Well, that's all for headlines.
Cool.
It's Taste Talk with Tracy. Mash some magic in your mouth.
So we tried the Al Pastor loaded fries. They were so good.
They're good.
Extra bonus, no avocado or guacamole in it.
Yeah.
So that's So it has Osaka spiced cheese sauce, marinated pork, salsa verde, and pineapple relish. And it had a big jalapeno on top
Yeah, I know.
in the picture.
Yeah, I think that's more of a garnish, but you can eat it. It's jalapeno.
ate it.
Yeah.
Then I got sick right after. I was like, oh, my stomach is burning.
It burns.
But it was marinated very well. I thought because, if you eat it by itself, it's salty, but it's with the fries and all these like spices and salsa and all that stuff. And it's crinkle cut fries, which you like.
Yep.
And Emily also said, I don't know why, but crinkle cut fries taste better. It's like, that's what Brian said too.
Yeah, I know. Especially when they're crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it was delicious. It's at the Paradise Garden Grill.
is that going to be permanent, or do we know?
Paradise Grill always changes their menu. So
Yeah, so we
for
don't
now,
know.
it's limited time. So, I know the other thing they have right now there is, what do you call it? Loaded burrito,
I love it.
which looks good
Yeah.
because it's more like a California burrito. It has fries and meat in it, but it just has guacamole. So that's why I never tried it.
Mm.
Because with Disney, I don't know if you can really say hold the guac because then it'll probably messes up their assembly line system. So, yeah, I don't want to customize it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think some of the best things that I've had, especially at California Adventure, is when they put meat on other stuff, meat on carbs. So like one of the things that they had, well, I think they might have brought it back, but we just didn't get it the second time. Is the pastrami dog?
Oh, yeah, it did come back.
Yeah, we just didn't get it the second time, but
And then
that
the
was
cheeseburger
delicious.
loaded fries that I had.
Yeah,
They just put meat on top of
putting meat on top of carbs is just a winning formula. It's just great. Disney does it really well. So, yeah, I give the fries probably maybe an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to say 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would go with that too.
So they're $12.99, but you get a Magic Key discount too.
Anything that's coming up or anything this weekend that we're gonna try?
Yes, the Captain America dog or whatever it's called. Captain Dog.
Captain Dog.
It says Captain, like CAP apostrophe N.
Captain.
Dog. It's called Captain Everything Dog.
What's on it?
So it's a hot link
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
wrapped in everything bagel pizza dough. So it's like a corn dog, but it's everything bagel.
Mm.
And and then special cheese mustard sauce or whatever.
Cheese mustard.
It's like I think it says it's at the cart in front of the Hyperion, but I think that used to be the Shawarma 2 cart, and now it turned into the Rogers
is that
cart.
the one? Oh, yeah, because that's the one by the
Hyperion. Yeah,
Theater,
that's what I think. We're going this Monday, but
Yeah, we're gonna see.
yeah, we'll see. But speaking of Rogers, we'll talk about that in Dot Points.
All right. Well, then let's do it.
Points Disney.
All right, I'm sure everybody's heard about the
So if you haven't guessed, this is a technology episode.
yeah.
It's all about tech.
Disney needs to invest more in tech, is
Yeah.
what I think. But anyways, so the pre-sale of Oogie Boogie Bash tickets for Magic Key holders, I guess there weren't any glitches because it all sold out by 4:50 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, I forgot which day it was. Was that Thursday or Wednesday? There was Oogie Boogie Bash fiasco. So people waited all day
Mm-hmm.
or hours or whatever. You know how you have to wait hours.
Yeah.
You get that page. And then all of a sudden, I don't know about what time or how many hours later, they said sales have been paused and we will let you know when it resells.
Yeah.
So everyone was scared to log off, I guess, and then it stayed on. But then later on, Disney announced, okay, sales will continue on July 6th.
Mm.
Like they rescheduled, postponed until July 6th. So everyone was like, because it's already stressful. Then you're waiting all day, so you wasted half your day. And then now it's like, oh, just kidding. So everybody was really upset and mad because of their technology issues.
Yeah.
It's a tech issue. Something went wrong.
So, and I guess what's so weird is that there's at least one ticket selling event every year that this happens. You know,
It happens in every event, right?
Well,
They don't have
some
the
events
capability.
some events go pretty good, but I mean, I'm just saying
Yeah,
there's
there's
at
still,
least
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
There's at least one to where it's a big news-making fiasco. You know, and and sometimes it's two, sometimes sometimes it's more than one, but it's never a year that Disneyland or Disney World has been fully opened, because I'm not counting the pandemic time. Those are the only times there was no fiascos when they were not open, right?
Yeah,
but there's never a year where it's zero.
Yeah, because they have multiple, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the year, there's ticketed events.
Yeah, and some
and then
some
there's
do
the
fine.
Magic Key
Like when we
going
bought
on
Oogie
sale.
Boogie last year, it was fine. But
Was it? I
yeah,
forgot.
no, it was fine. It was
Oh,
just,
okay.
but I'm just saying.
Because we're just so used to waiting hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm the one
sometimes
who
you have
wait
to.
hours, so I remember.
Sometimes you have to wait a long time, but I mean, I guess there's no, but it doesn't always crash.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's my point.
But the waiting a long time is because like Comic-Con, right? It happens every year.
Mhm.
And there's years where we wait, but it's just like, all right, in an hour, it's like, oh, we didn't get it. It said it sold out. Okay,
And
bye.
Comic-Con
Just
is
log off.
once a year, so it's not like the people who are doing these things have like
practice every year,
every
throughout
week,
the year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Comic-Con, and I know people think it's unfair. I think it's more than fair to compare because most of them are volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
and they get a system. They know there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people coming over, maybe millions over a 4-day period,
Mm-hmm.
and it happens only once a year. And yet, I don't remember. There was a little bit of a hiccup this last time because they switched to a new system. But most years, the waiting is annoying because there's so many people,
But they
but it doesn't crash.
doesn't crash, and they let you know.
Yeah.
Friday sold out, and then
Yeah.
like a few minutes later,
As you're waiting.
Saturday sold. Yeah,
As you're waiting.
and then
yeah.
you just hang up.
Yeah.
They don't leave you in like the dumb
limbo.
like thing and saying, "Oh, your
Yeah.
wait is more than 1 hour," which could mean 6.
Yeah, and they definitely don't say, "Hey, we're closing down, but you can buy tickets again in a few days." Like,
No, they didn't even say that. They said tickets sales are paused at the moment due to technical
Paused.
issues. And then everyone's like, "What? What's going on?" And then hours later, they're like, "Okay, July 6th, come back."
yeah.
So
So for everything Disney, it's always whether it's Oogie Boogie or any type of special event, Magic Keys when
Yeah.
they go on sale and off
they
sale.
didn't really have wait times on their apps until like maybe 2016.
Yeah.
Because we went to Disneyland for like 3 or 4 years
Mm-hmm.
together before, and we used mouse wait.
Yeah, I know.
And we're like, why doesn't Disney have this wait time on their app?
And mouse
Because
wait's
they're
not
so
like,
behind in technology.
it's so weird, And again, this is part of Tracy's obsession with AI is contributed to by Disney. I'm telling you, it's not because she's like anti-labor. It's more because she's been such a Disney fan and had to deal with this since at least we met in 2013. Of all these things that are that's such a huge company that depends on ticket sales because the
Yeah.
park revenue drives the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
There is no MCU without Disney parks.
Right.
A lot of people think movies make the money. No, movies, they borrow money to make the movies, and they have the money they get the credit to borrow it from the revenue from the parks.
Yeah.
That's how movies are made. That's how any business does business, is that they don't use their own money to launch a new project. They borrow money, and then they think that they're going to make the money back to pay it back, plus whatever interest they owed. But they have to have collateral. The collateral is the money in the bank from the parks. That's how it works. Chapek tried to move that around and make everything look profitable. It doesn't work. Parks are the bedrock of it. So if the parks are the bedrock of your revenue, why would you not just invest the most advanced technology that you can get your hands on into those ticket sales? For ticket sales for anything in the park.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
anything park related technology. Like, why do I have to go to a website to make reservations? Why can't I do it in the app? There's something as simple as that,
Yeah.
right? To make a park reservation, we have to go to the website.
Yeah. It hits you, and you go to Disney Go.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Which is fine. We're used to it. But it's like just simple things like that. And we even talked to Dustin about it, right? He's
Yeah.
like, oh, this app sucks. I could write a better app.
Yeah.
But then you were saying, well,
he said
Yeah.
that the reason is that a lot of these legacy companies,
have
people who
old
got into
school
their technology
bosses.
department, well, basically it's boomers.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah,
happens
old school bosses.
and this is happening in a lot of companies and a lot of industries, is that, like, let's say somebody got into the technology department of Disney, like in the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were just young up and comer, and they probably were at the forefront of technology back then. But then they get promoted, and now they're VPs, right? But they're 60, you know? and so when something new comes out, they're not keeping up with the latest stuff. You know, they don't know what Python is. They don't know what, they don't know what AI is. You know, AI, they're like Allen Iverson. Like, they don't know what are they talking about, you know? I mean, they kind of know what it is, but they don't know the nuances of it and how they
Right.
could utilize it for continuous
Don't they have
improvement.
tech conferences? I mean, they have that for
They probably,
legal people.
What happens is they probably send like their mid-level people there, and then people come back. It's kind of like how we're not going to get too much into your business, but like you go to a conference,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a conference for legal ops that you go to. I'm not
Yeah.
going to mention names or anything.
Right.
And the first year you went there, everybody's complaining that their company won't buy new technology to
Right.
make their jobs easier.
Yeah.
So, and you're not a tech company.
Right.
And most of these companies weren't tech companies.
Yes.
You know, some of them were, but
Mm-hmm.
but they're just businesses, right? And that's the struggle. And most of the people there are probably people in their late 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people who've been there since the 80s that they have to
Yeah,
approve it.
they can't get approval from.
Yeah, because somebody who's
Attorneys,
60 years
you know?
old, you know,
Yeah.
or like an attorney who didn't study technology at all. It's
Yeah.
like, why would I sign off?
I'm fine.
Why would I
using,
give $1 million? Because they're given a budget.
Yeah.
And it's like, why am I going to go and waste my political capital for $500,000 for an app that does what you're supposed to do? That's the
Right.
way they think.
Yes, I'm fine with keeping track of things on Excel.
Yeah.
No, that is so archaic. But
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that's how it is at Disney right now, I guess.
And,
you know?
and when we applaud, so like when we talk about Bob Iger, right? We love the fact that, man, this is a guy who started Disney when he was 21 years old, and he made it all the way to CEO.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always a good thing for certain things, right? Because when you become the boss and you started when you were 21 and you're 72, 73 right now,
Mm-hmm.
that means they didn't even have computers when you started.
Right.
Like literally, they didn't have
Right.
computers. That was before the moon landing when you started Disney.
But Iger's philosophy is he hires people to tell him what
I'm
to do,
not
right?
blaming him
Right, right,
personally, but I'm saying even if he's the
leaders
unicorn,
within the departments.
even
are
if
like
he's
that.
a unicorn,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say that all 71-year-olds are they're not going to think
are going to
like
be
that.
like, yeah, exactly.
You know, Iger still walks the parks. You know,
Yeah.
he's good, but you just can't, like, you know, it's kind of like the same way with. There's a lot of older people who don't understand why people don't want to come back in an office and work after the pandemic. It's like, well, you do realize that costs us money, you know, and you do realize that if I have to commute like at half an hour each way,
Mm-hmm.
you do know that I could be working for you for that half hour.
Mm-hmm.
Those half hour. That's an extra hour. If I'm salaried, I could put in an extra hour of work for you, and they still don't see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though it could benefit the company, they
Right.
don't look at it like that. They're just kind of like, they must be in their pajamas being lazy and, you know, smoking doobies or something. these young hippies, you know, that's the way they look at it. So, yeah, it is a generational thing that I think is affecting the holdback in technology, and especially with a company like Disney who's been around so long. A brand new company that's only been around 10 years, yeah, they're going to get whatever technology they need.
Yeah.
You know, but Disney, man, they're 100 years old. They're literally 100 years old this year.
You expect them to have a website down,
Yeah,
a system down?
They're like,
Pat?
yeah.
Well, then let people go line up at the booth. If you're going to be that old school, go all the way. Let people. You don't even let people buy tickets at the booth. You know, online tickets only for events. Well, if you're going to be old school, then go let people line up.
I remember that one congressional hearing. It's probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't even remember who the politician was, but he was just like, the internet is something, you know, the internet's it's a series of tubes. No, you guys could Google this. Just Google politician says internet is a series of tubes, because to him, you know those like air things where you put like the things, and then you had the air
The
thing
thing
that
that they
shoots.
do in like the Goonies or something.
Yeah, and the air tube shoots up. He thought that's what the internet was. And you know, and he said this on the floor of Congress. And he's like, the internet is a series of tubes, and it's complicated, and but those are some of the people who are running our company.
Yes.
You know.
Or, well, it's like when what's his name? Facebook was on and Google CEOs were in front of the Senate hearing or something, and they were asking about my email's not working. So, la, la, la. I was like, what is he asking? Like, you know, this some old politician guy's like, so can you help me with my email? I was like, what? What?
Yeah, they were. This was a congressional hearing for the tech industry.
Yes.
And like Zuckerberg was there.
Zuckerberg and the Google CEO.
Yeah, Google CEO. And a guy was asking, well, why am I getting? They thought they were tech support. They thought they were telling AI for the Capitol. It's like, why am I getting an error message
When I try to send this email? It's like, what?
Oh boy, yeah.
Man.
But yes, these are some of the people who are in charge of our lives.
Running Disney.
You know what's really scary? I'll terrify you even more. These are some of the people who are in charge of our nuclear arsenals in Russia and the United States. And we got a war going on. So, yeah.
Maybe you could develop some AI to measure intelligence before you can so it can biometrically screen your intelligence before you could push that nuclear button.
I'm all for it. I don't sound so bad now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's making Tracy's point, and eventually we're going to have Skynet, but it's going to be the failure of humans that leads to Skynet. But hopefully it's a friendly Skynet.
Well, if y'all don't shape up, it's going to be Skynet. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Okay, so yes, that's the fiasco. The other fiasco was Rogers, the musical's first day was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really a fiasco.
that's a fiasco.
It's not a fiasco. It's typical Disney fans.
Mm-hmm.
Where of course, the premium viewing package was sold out by 9 a.m.
Right.
You know, like it's only $29. Of course, everyone and their mom's is going to line up to do that, right? You're not going to get the free virtual queue. You're going to, because it's only $29 and you want that popcorn bucket or whatever, you're going to line up for that. But it was sold out by 9. The virtual queue was out in a millisecond. So, and I think it may be because it's the first day and everybody wants to be the first to see it.
Yeah,
and things
to
like that.
me, I don't know if that, again, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see when we get there Monday. Is that first day vibes, or is that going to be like long lasting? Because I told you when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway first came, its virtual queue was gone in a few seconds too. We didn't get it. We ended up buying it. But I said it's going to die down.
And then a few days later, it's like,
Oh,
oh,
it
just
is
kidding. You
normal.
don't have to use virtual
Yeah.
queue anymore.
Mhm.
But this one's only here till August 30th, this show. So I
True.
don't know if everyone's like has that FOMO, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it.
Could be. You know, that will play a part, but it's kind of like any TV show or anything else. I don't think it's going to go up. It tapers down. The question is how big is the drop off? So if the drop off is only like 5%, it's still going to be crazy.
Yeah, maybe
throughout
Disney's
its entire
thinking
run.
like it's
know.
not as fan. It doesn't catch as wide of a net as like Star Wars, or because first of all, you guys watch Hawkeye to even know what this thing is about, right? And then you got to be a Marvel fan.
There's a lot of Marvel fans, and I think that you don't have to watch Hawkeye because even people who don't know what it's about, if it was Captain America the musical, people are going to want to see. People know who
That's true,
Captain
that's true.
America
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, so wait, an Avenger. They just know it's an Avengers musical. So even if you didn't watch Hawkeye,
Yeah.
you're going to want to see it, especially since there really haven't been any shows there. So so it's not just the Marvel fans. It's like we haven't seen a show at the Hyperion Theater in forever.
Yeah. The last show was Frozen.
Frozen. Yeah. So and that's pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's like I think the same way they misjudged with Galaxy's Edge and everything else, it's kind of like they misjudged with this on the other side. Like they're like, not too many people are going to come to see this and are going to want to see this, and it's like, no, you're mixing
there's
two
always gonna
audiences.
be-
There's people who want to see shows at the Hyperion and because
Yeah.
it's back, and then you're going to get that crowd. You're going to get the Marvel crowd, and then you're going to get people who are
Or just want to see the new Disney thing, whatever it is.
whatever it is.
As long
yeah.
as it's Disney and I'm paying for it. Like, I'm going to pay so I can be up front or whatever. And yeah, it was sold out in an hour. And,
Especially if you're giving away like commemorative stuff with it.
Yeah.
So
and it's only $29.
and it's $29. $29. Your parking is literally more expensive than this ticket.
Yes, that's my thing. I'm like, why not make it like 50? Because the dessert party for World of Color is $92,
Yeah.
and it's always sold out. So do you think the $29 thing will be left over?
Especially if you're giving stuff with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's I think it's a good thing. If it remains popular, they're going to extend it. I don't think it's kind of one of those things.
yeah, I was surprised that they only had it
Or,
for like 2 months.
it'll go away because maybe like the actors, who are participating have a
break.
contract,
Yeah.
and so they only contracted them. So what they'll do is they'll say, "Hey, it's going to go away. It'll be gone for maybe up to 6 months, and then they'll bring it back next summer, 2024."
Or maybe it's so good that they're going on like a Broadway tour.
Or maybe I don't. They would have to add a lot of content because I don't think it's that
right.
long.
Right.
But I think that, or maybe they will just start doing just Avengers musicals in general on different heroes. You could have like a Doctor Strange musical. Or you could have.
Well, I
mean,
think maybe they would bring back Aladdin or Frozen or other type of musicals. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think they need to maximize the stuff they have. They've already. You could do that. They could have different shows. I mean, don't get me wrong. Shows are expensive to do because
They are.
a lot. Because it's just like when you're preparing for a fight. A lot of people, you watch a boxing match or the UFC, people think that the work is done in the cage or the ring. No, it's the 2 months leading up to that, to where the training and all this stuff and the prep.
But look at all these actors.
That's what I'm saying. And all those
Mm.
people have to be trained. So you're not paying them for just doing the show. You're paying them for the prep.
Yeah, rehearsal,
And-
everything.
and yeah. So
Makeup artist, hairdo,
and
whatever.
all those, and then the makeup artists are IATSE. So that's another union thing you're gonna have to deal with. So it's not simple, but it could be worth it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if those numbers stay up there. I hope it does because I'd like to see more shows.
Yeah.
So.
I like shows. It keeps people away from the lines and the rides. I'm just kidding.
Well,
didn't
no,
have
I mean,
a big
and Disney
theater to
likes that,
Like that would have been Friday would have been a good day to be at Disneyland
Yeah.
because everybody's in line for the show. You can go on all these rides with
Yeah.
short wait times.
So is that it for today?
That is it.
Okay, so we will be back next week. Don't know which day yet because you're always leaving and doing weird things. But I'll always be here. Maybe
I'll
I'll
always have a pop-up.
I'll do it by myself if I need to. So
Oh, you're gonna be like Johnny. Go on your rants by yourself.
Just me yelling at the microphone like an old man. Ah, you know what grinds my gears? But yeah, so remember our giveaway, the Magic Crown. We still got the card wallet giveaway, and we will be at the parks this Monday, July 3rd. So if you see us, you can get a free Kate Spade Minnie Mouse wallet. And I think that's it for now. Leave us a good review on Apple, Spotify, and leave all the podcasters that you listen to a good review. Show them some love. I mean, that really helps them out. And I think that's it for this week. Everyone have a happy 4th of July. I'm Brian.
I'm Tracy.
Stay magical.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and visit us at www.ropedroppingknowledge.com.